Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Pierre Leveille on the line, and he's President and CEO at Deep South Resources. Pierre, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to be with you today.
All right, Pierre. So excited to get into today's topic. So we'll get further into Deep South Resources, and I want to hear some updates from you on how the project's going and overall the green movement that we're talking about here today. But just to get us started, just to set the table, I'll ask the same question we ask to all our guests when we bring them on, and that's our signature question. So Pierre, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. So that's our mission here. Pierre, what mission matters to you?
Well, the main point is twofold: is to be involved in the green revolution. It's very important for me, but also, the main one is certainly to create new jobs in the southern region of Namibia, which is a country I love really. I'm being involved with Namibia since 25 years. I lived in the country for a certain period of time, so it's a little bit like my second home, and for me it's very important. So the Green Revolution is something very important that matters to me, but also creating new jobs in the southern part of Namibia is very, very important.
That's awesome. Love bringing mission-based entrepreneurs and executives on the show to talk about what they do. So let's just dive right in. So how did you get started really on this path as an entrepreneur in mining? Tell me a little bit more about how Pierre got here.
My background is not, technical. I'm not a geologist or a mining engineer. My background is finance, and I started my career as a stockbroker and investment banker. And most of the funds I was raising were for the exploration industry in the northern Quebec, northern Ontario, and Canada. So I, slowly developed a pretty interesting knowledge about the exploration part of the mining industry, and I become more and more competent, let's say, in raising money for these kinds of projects, up to a point where I've decided at some point to take over the management of a company I was nearly controlling with some of my investors, my clients. And the first project in the company was a small diamond and gold project in Ghana in West Africa. So I was pretty attracted to Africa. When I was a stockbroker also, I had I opened quite a lot of accounts for South African investors, so I had a pretty good network with South African high net worth people. So around that network, I started looking for projects and did the first acquisition in Namibia in 1996. So since 25 years, I'm involved with Namibia. So and since that time, I'm managing exploration projects, developing funding, some exploration projects in Namibia, also in South Africa.
Awesome. So that which brings us to today's topic. So first off, tell us a little bit more about Deep South Resources.
Deep South is an exploration company listed on the TSX Venture under the symbol DSM and on the OTCQB, symbol DSMTF. And our main project is in the southern part of Namibia. It's called Hype Copper. It's a very large deposit, low grade. It's what we call a porphyry copper. And we, up to the month of June, we were developing the project to eventually become a mine. We have produced a preliminary economic assessment in at the end of September 2020, and the numbers were completely awesome. It's at that price of copper of $4 per pound, we were over that today. The net present value of the project is $1.6 billion US, with a capital investment need of $340 million US. So it gives you a pretty nice internal rate of return of 42% after tax. So it's a pretty robust project. The reason why it's existing since a long time, it has been explored by a lot of companies, but most of the companies were using classical way of extracting the metal, and because the grade is low, it was not it was sub-economic. We were the first company to go towards some different technologies. Using bio-heap leaching, we have been able to show that it works with our project and show that we can develop a project at low capital investment and low operational cost. And then suddenly it's not sub-economic anymore. It's giving a pretty good return. So that's our main project. We're looking to acquire projects in copper also in other countries. We want to be a little bit more diversified. Recently, we had a setback with that project because the Ministry of Mines in Namibia did not accept to renew the exploration license over that project. So what we have to do now is we're in court in Namibia to ask a review of the decision of the minister. The court recently has seen quite a lot of merit on our case, so they have blocked the Ministry of Mines to issue the license to anyone else until the final decision is rendered. But because we have some prominent shareholders who are Namibian, very well placed in Namibia, we also do quite a lot of lobbying. We realize now that most probably a mistake or a misunderstanding somewhere, and we're pretty confident we will get the rights back. So at the moment, it's not an easy situation, but we're pretty confident we can turn that around, and we look forward to have a very good future with that project. At the time, they decided to refuse the license. I think they didn't realize that, but we were having 3 drills on site with 42 employees working. So we had to retrench these people, which is not a very good idea in a part of Namibia where jobs are very, very important. So we're pretty confident we will turn that situation around. It's certainly a misunderstanding there.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit more about this green revolution and how green technology is playing its role.
The green revolution is very important because, as you may know, it's we're entering now into electrification of transport. And when I say that, we're not talking only about cars. We're talking trucks, buses. Even I was seeing an article yesterday showing that planes are now. Some planes can do short distances with electric engines. So it's a very deep revolution. But what happens with that is that there's a demand in certain commodities that is quite important, like copper. Just as an example, an internal combustion engine car needs about 22 kilo in average of copper, and an electric car is at 85 kilos. So there's a serious demand on the price of copper. And copper now, the situation is that the production is diminishing, every year. They have not invested. Major companies have not invested so much in exploration in the past 20 years. Now they're stuck because there's not a lot of new project coming online when the demand is exploding. So we figure out that for at least the next 10 years, copper will be probably one of the main, if not the main commodity demand in the world concerning that. And it's pretty important because we all know that with the environment today, it's very important that we modify some of our behaviors. And one of them is electrification of transport will certainly help quite a lot in some countries, at least Northern Europe, United States, Canada will certainly benefit quite a lot of that. So where for us the green revolution is very important, but also that's the area where we're the most involved, in exploring for copper deposit.
And so how does the Haït copper deposit play kind of a role into this? Like, how do you see that contributing?
It's very, when we have stopped working in June, we were starting a feasibility study. And the feasibility study in our industry is the last step before constructing a mine. So within 2 years to 3 years, we would have been able to take a decision to construct a mine. And then if we construct the mine, we come into play at a time where the demand is growing and the supply is going down. So we would be a new supplier that can at least play a certain role to bring more copper to the demand. And we were talking at that time about 80,000 tons per year of copper. So it's pretty sizable project. So that's where we see our role is to come into play when the demand is growing and the supply is going down.
That's awesome. Well, Pierre, this has been really great having you on the show today to learn more about your background, all the great work that you're doing over at Deep South Resources, and really just get an update on the overall company and what's going on with it. So, I mean, this has been great, and your take on the green revolution and why it's important to get in early on. I mean, you're creating jobs, you're creating technology in terms of, or implementing technology in different areas. I mean, it's just good. It's a great story overall. So happy to bring that to my audience and happy to share. That being said, so Pierre, if somebody is listening to this right now and they want to learn more about Deep South Resources, what's the best way for them to do that?
There's two ways. The first one is to go to our website, which is deepsouthresources.com, and or send an email at info@deepsouthresources.com, or call us at 819-340-0140. And I'm always happy to answer calls or answer emails.
Fantastic. Well, Pierre, again, really appreciate you coming on the show today. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. Hope you learned a lot. If you did, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. We definitely want you to be a return listener and a return visitor. And Pierre, thanks again for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me on your show. It was a great pleasure. Have a nice day.